Hey everyone, it's May and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be book writing 15, I believe. I have not done one of these in a while, it feels like. I think the last one I did was like spring break, so I have quite a lot to catch you guys up on. If you guys are new here, welcome to my channel. I make videos about who really knows now, because I did make mostly college vlogs, but I make writing videos, the occasional what I eat in a day, vlogs, videos about CSULB, things like that, so please hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications if you'd like to join the fam. Yeah, so if you guys don't know, I'm working on several novels. I have mainly shifted my focus to spring break book right now. I have like names for all my books that I talk about on here. That's the one that I'm most focusing on with my directed studies professor, and I had started my study abroad book and I was really into drafting it, but it's like I just can't do that right now. I can't be splitting my time between two projects. Like, it's not gonna work right now. And I really have the inspiration for it and I really want to write it. There is some research that goes into it, but I feel like I really could just sit down and draft it, so it's so sad that I can't be doing that right now, but it's just not what I need to be focusing on. So I have been forcing myself to write spring break book, and it's just a hot mess right now, you guys. Like, we are struggling. So new developments since I last talked to y'all. I actually have two friends that have been amazing and have been reading it and giving me feedback, which has been really helpful. I know it's kind of weird that like I'm not even done writing it and I'm getting feedback. I mean, obviously I got feedback from my professor too, but I'm just at that point where I really need other people's opinions, like how it reads and how it comes off, because I'm so in it that I can't tell. Like, I wrote it, I created these characters, so I can't really tell how certain things are coming off. I have a lot of big decisions to make. Like, I have one section that I wrote two different ways, and it's toward the beginning of the book, but it really influences how these characters' dynamic plays out later on. It influences so much. Like, it's this really, really pivotal part, and it's so frustrating. Like, my professor and I have literally spent so long debating which one's gonna work better, and then my friends have also told me that they like certain aspects of one and aspects of the other, and it's so hard. Like, I know I could try to combine them, but it's like it sort of wouldn't work. Like, I don't know, it really, I'm just realizing that I kind of like wrote this book with a certain vision in mind for like how my main character's relationship with one person and another person was gonna be, and I might be changing that significantly. So it's just like, this draft is gonna be like, when I'm done, it's gonna be like a first draft, but like it's gonna be a lot more refined than an actual like first rough draft would be, because I'm like revising it as I write it. Like, there are some scenes that have only been written once, while there are others that have been revised multiple times, and I feel like I would hardly change anything about it in the revision and editing process. So it's just weird. And can I just give a word to the wise? Write your books in order. If you are starting a book, write it in order. I have started way too many projects to like backtrack and do this, but with the newer projects I've been starting, I have been trying to write it in order. I will never do this to myself again. Like, it has become so frustrating. This has just become so hard to deal with, the fact that I wrote this out of order. It's infuriating, because the reason I wrote it out of order, I originally started this book by writing a scene in another book, because I kind of have like characters overlap in different books, and this book is even more of a hot mess than Spring Break book is. But I wrote in this scene and I was like, I really want to give this character her own story. I feel like this could be its own book. So I started it, and I actually didn't start it with that same scene that I wrote in the other one. I started in a different scene, because that's what I had in my head. I just started writing scenes that I had in my head and doing that more and more and more, and they were like these disjointed scenes, and I just wrote when I had inspiration, and I would leave things out. I'd be like, oh, okay, so this happens, but I don't really know about this, because like when I had inspiration for a scene, then I'd have to actually figure out all the details when I wrote it down on paper. And then I've just been like filling in around it. That's how I've been writing this book, and adding more context, adding more background, building, fleshing out characters and stuff. But it doesn't work, because I started these scenes without knowing this, and I would write something and be like, oh, well, I will have woven something in before this that connects to it, and then I forgot to weave it in. Like, I feel like I have a good memory where if I have inspiration for a scene, I can hold it. Like with Study Abroad book and my fantasy book, I have inspiration for specific scenes, but I would never start with those scenes because if I started to write it, I'd realize that while I may have the dialogue in my head, there's so many details that I wouldn't actually know when I sat down to write it. I truly think that writing books in order is like the only way to go. And of course you'll come up with more stuff where it's like, oh, I'm coming up with this new idea, now I need to weave it in, but I swear it would be so much easier. Hopefully I'm making sense. It's just like, if like you're someone who wants to write a novel or starting out and you have like inspiration for a specific scene, like take notes on that scene or like write the dialogue in a separate document, but for the love of God, write your book in order. Like I don't want anyone to get into the mess that I'm in right now. Like it is such a pain in the butt. And my professor like really thinks, he keeps telling me like, oh look, you have 2 finished novel manuscripts, like oh look, you're almost done. I'm not almost done. I still have so much that needs to be added and I am hitting 100K. That is awful. Like it's so discouraging to keep seeing that word count go up because that's not gonna work. It can't be that long. Like this would probably be the second novel I tried to get published. Like first book is a significant amount shorter. I think it's like 80 something, and when I edit it more I'll probably end up cutting. So as long as my first one is shorter, like that's better, but 100K is long. It's so long for a young adult book, and it's just so frustrating because it's like I know I have to add in all this other stuff and I'm probably gonna have to cut some of it, but like I can't think about that. And my professor told me that too. He's like, you can't focus on the word count, like you just have to get the whole story out and then we'll deal with it and you can cut stuff. And there will probably be a lot of like little words and little phrases that you can cut and that'll take a significant amount of words away. And like that's true, but it's still so frustrating. Like I said, we're struggling. I've also just been struggling with writer's block. I mean, I know we're going through a pandemic right now. It's like a difficult time. I mean, I'm still in school, but even when I do have time to write, it's just really difficult. And it's for a number of reasons. God, it's hot in this room. Ugh. I am not having a great day, if you guys can't tell. Things are not well. I woke up with a headache because I slept like garbage last night and I made coffee thinking it would help me and it just gave me more of a headache, so it's just like miserable, and it's super hot outside, it's super hot in here, and I have the fan on, but it's still hot, and I'm gonna turn that up. Hashtag struggling. I had work all morning, BTW. I'm just filming this after. Did that actually turn up? Come on. Okay. So anyway, I've just been struggling with the fact that like I'll sit down, because I did write out like where each scene goes, so like I have everything filled in, it's just like little summaries in brackets. So I'll go to write one of those scenes and write it out and it'll seem simple, but then when I actually start to try to write it, it's like, wait, like how is this going to be significant? Does that make sense? It's like if I have something there, it's like, oh, like this character has an interaction with this person, like I know it needs to be there, but like what is it actually going to be? How is it developing character and advancing the plot? Like there's never anything in a book that's just there. Like it has to connect to things. And then it just takes me forever. Sometimes I'll have like months at a time where I'm like way more inspired than others. Like I just have like eras of my life where like writing comes easier than others, and it depends what kind of project I'm working on. Like right now, this project just is not coming easily to me. Last summer, I went through a time when it really, really was. It just depends. So it's like I have to sit through staring at the screen, rereading other sections, trying to figure it out, trying the scene and it not working to actually get to the point where I can write. Like I can't just skip over that. I have to like feel like I'm wasting time and feel like I'm not getting anywhere to get to the point where the words come out. And it's just, it sucks, but like that's the point where I'm at right now. Writing is not coming easily to me with this project. And I think one of the main reasons for that is because I left all the scenes that I didn't want to write for the end because I was stupid and wrote it out of order. So like, and I'm still doing that. I'm like, what seems the most fun to write? And the scenes that are gonna be like the worst are left for the end. It's just, why did I do this to myself? So that's where I'm at. There's the aspect of filling in scenes. There's going to be choosing between way 1 and way 2 and adjusting the end accordingly. Then I have to revise the last third of the book based on a note my professor gave me, and that's actually going okay. You know, I fixed one scene, now I'm working on revising another, so that's something tangible that I can do, and that's important. And then I have to figure out this specific character's arc. I think I might end up changing it, but I want to get my friends' feedback on it too. And on that, I had them stop reading because I wanted to fill stuff in and revise stuff so that they wouldn't have to like read things that were going to be changed. So I need to work on that so that they can keep reading so that they don't forget what they read. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm having such trouble deciding what song I should lip sync for you guys, because usually I do one that like fits with the section that I'm writing, but I've been skipping around and writing like different things. So I don't know. Oh, that's the other thing, is that I'm trying to figure out the best way to like go about filling in the rest of the scenes, and what I'm thinking I might do more or less is like try to write all the scenes that go with one specific thread, so I get in the mindset of that thread, I guess, if that makes sense, like one subplot or one aspect of a plot, and just fill those scenes in. So it's like progressing, but just with those scenes. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
You know I want you. It's not a secret I tried to hide. I know you want me. So don't keep saying your hands are tied. Your claim's not a cause, but things pulling miles away and out of reach from me. But you're here in my heart, so who can stop me if I decide that you're my destiny? What will you start? Say you're meant to be mine. Nothing could keep us apart. You'll be the one I was meant to find. It's up to you, and it's up to me. No one can say what we get to be. So why don't we start? Maybe the world could be ours tonight.
I swear, if my book could be a musical, the song would be in it. Like, I imagine it as like the most epic musical number. I know exactly where it would go. It would be so good. Maybe that'll get me inspired to write. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for watching. I will hopefully be making another one of these videos next month. I will continue to share my journey with you guys. It has been my goal to finish a full draft of Spring Break book now. It was my goal in summer of 2019, and then it was my goal for the 2019-2020 school year, and I hesitate to make it my goal for summer 2020, because I'm like, am I just setting myself up to fail again? But like, I'm not doing anything, so I should have time. And if I like make myself a schedule, I should be able to do it, or at least the parts that I can. Like if I end up getting stuck with the dilemma or whatever, that's one thing, but I can at least fill stuff in to the best of my ability. And Jillian has a goal set for like mid-August, I think, for finishing one of her novels, so I think if we try to like motivate each other, maybe it can happen. Maybe. And my professor and I are, I think, going to continue to work throughout the summer, so I will be motivated in that regard too, because I kind of need people holding me accountable. I think that's the main thing. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!